Pleasure to meet you.
Such an honor. Thank you for being here.
Have a seat. So I hear congratulations are in order because you were just nominated for an Emmy for a documentary on A&E about the LA riot.
Just today.
Just today.
Just like a few hours ago. It's great.
Yeah, congratulations.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's a nice, great honor.
Yeah, you've been nominated for so many awards. You seem so unaffected by it.
I'll take anything I can get. It's good.
Well,
yeah, bring home one, hopefully.
Well, speaking of awards, when you were like the youngest person to be nominated for Academy Award at 23 for Boys in the Hood.
The best director.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on that time period, do you reflect on it differently now?
No, I still feel the way I did then. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? You know what I mean? Like, hopefully I can continue on and make interesting films. And I think the biggest thing at the time was me like saying that I didn't ask to be like nominated. I didn't play it safe to be nominated, so I have to like be bold with everything I do in my career, and so that's what I've been trying to do ever since.
And speaking of your career, I want to kind of go back before the nomination and talk about you were at USC and studying film, and you were reviewing scripts. How did you even get to the point to be allowed to direct Boys in the Hood? Because it wasn't necessarily supposed to be you, right?
I was doing an internship, and someone in my internship gave the script over to a couple of agencies, and met with one agency, and they wanted to sign me immediately. And then that got me a meeting with Columbia, and I kind of conned my way into directing the film.
Right, but Russell Simmons, was he in that?
Russell Simmons read it too. Russell Simmons was actually going to produce Boys in the Hood.
Right, that's what I was.
And so there was all this kind of buzz around the script and me, and you know, it worked out pretty good for me.
I'd say so.
We saw, you know, a very young Cuba Gooding Jr., a very unknown actor at that time. Did you know he was going to go on to be a star?
Not really. I mean, Cuba was. He's kind of like the way he is now. He was wild and crazy, and you know, had all this energy and stuff. You know, it was the funny story about that was when we had auditions for Boys in the Hood. I had never auditioned actors before.
Right. I mean, you were 23.
No, I was 22 when we made the movie.
22.
So we have the first person to come in to read with Fishburne was Morris Chestnut.
Okay.
So then he comes in, and then I said, okay, you're pretty good. You know, you're a good-looking dude. You know, okay, fine. You know, then the next person to come is Cuba. And then I said, okay, well, I'm leaving. He says, what you got all these people outside? I said, this guy, he's going to be Trey, and then the chocolate boy is going to be Ricky. I'm going to lunch. I got to go.
And that was it.
That was it. I said, I'm hungry. I got to go.
That's a great story.
I mean, is it true too that you were working on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and that's where you originally met Lawrence Fishburne, and you told him?
I was 19 years old. I was like, I'm going to write a movie for you one day. He was like, how old are you? I said, I'm 19, man. He says, go on, brother. You know. It was good. It was good.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the new show. You've done so many projects, but this one looks amazing as well.
This show is, I'm calling this show kind of like my opus. This is like making everything in the last 20 years come together. It's called SNOWFALL. It's set in South Central Los Angeles. It's before the events of Boys in the Hood. It's in 1983, so it's before crack hit. Right. You know, we're advertising it as how crack hit, but it's before. It's when the neighborhood, when kids were playing in the streets. And you know, they're playing football and baseball in the streets, and you know, it was always a little dicey, but it wasn't what it became, right? Nobody had bars in their homes, and we really show how the neighborhood changes, you know, and how East LA and Latino neighborhoods changed because, you know, it became a war.
Right? Please welcome the show's creator, Oscar-nominated screenwriter and director John Singleton, and three of the stars of SNOWFALL: Damson, Idris, Carter Hudson, and Angela Lewis.
Yes, welcome back to Chicago.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
It seems like you guys were just here talking about the show's inauguration on FX. So congratulations on being picked up for another season.
Thank you.
Yeah, John, when did you know this show was a hit?
I guess.
When he cost me.
When he casted you?
Definitely. But last season is just see the response that everybody loved the show. It was great. It was, you know, people were just, a lot of people there are people who lived through this and people who never knew about it, you know, and it's like an amalgamation from all these folks, and they had comments like, this is some interesting stuff.
Right. And Idris, you were saying that, or Damson, you were saying that
Wait,
Called him by his last
sounds
name.
cool.
Idris Elba.
That sounds cool. Hey, we can run with that.
Damson, you were saying that you're from the UK, and you were not aware of everything that was happening in the 1980s. What was your perception when you learned about this for the first time?
Well, initially I just thought that America was basically just Hollywood and Brad Pitt, and then after watching Boys in the Hood, I kind of saw from this gentleman right here,
Which John directed, of course.
I started to see the insight of, the kind of darker areas of America, and I saw a complete correlation to where I was from in London, in Peckham. So I read into it, and then, it blew me away about this story and what it's done to the people today.
Describe your character in this story and set it up for folks at home who may not have seen it.
So Franklin Saint's a young 19-year-old kid from South Central who's, into playing out with his friends and wrestling, and then he stumbles into this cocaine industry, and then decides to instead become a CEO of a company, sell cocaine.
Yes.
So,
street pharmacy.
Exactly. Street entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Street entrepreneur.
Right term.
What about you, Carter and Angela? Tell us a little bit about your characters.
Go ahead. Okay. So I play Teddy McDonald, and he is a CIA officer who was running an under-the-table operation, funneling all of this cocaine into Los Angeles from South America.
He's evil.
Well, that's unfair. We'll say misguided.
He's funding
Mischievous.
a war. He's funding a war the government wants to happen.
Right. And Angela, describe your character, and what are we going to see different from her in season 2?
So Aunt Louie is Franklin's wildcat aunt. She's in this dream-deferred space when we first meet her. She's kind of smoked out, but she's really looking for an opportunity to move up and out, and she sees this opportunity with Franklin, and she wants to jump on it. She makes some power moves at the end of season 1, and season 2 we watched that those get backfire on her.
He's actually the most gangster character on the show.
What's so interesting for me?
Character on the show is this sweet woman right here.
What struck me so interesting, I'm looking at you guys, and you play the aunt of Damson's character, but looking at you in person, there cannot be that much age difference for you.
That's how it is in the hood. Like, even the mamas look like they could be the sisters, or the aunts are like,
When I was in the first grade, the little boy that sat next to me was an uncle.
You are kidding me.
I'm absolutely serious.
Wow.
Yeah, I was so jealous. Like, I want to be an auntie.
John, we've seen you direct some of the most iconic films out there. We mentioned Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, Four Brothers, one of my favorite movies. How much different is it in a series like this when you have a lot more time to tell the story rather than just 2 hours?
We don't have a lot of time to do it, but it's great because we have phenomenal actors, and we don't even really rehearse. We have a read through, and then we're pretty much on the set doing it, and so they make it happen. They just they embody these characters. Right. They always say that 90% of directing is actors, so what you see on our show is basically due to them.
John, what do you prefer now after doing some of both? Do you prefer movies or do you like the TV genre?
I'm loving TV right now because I'm able to I'm not just saying this because you guys are, but I'm saying it's like you're able to make a movie every week,
right?
As opposed to making a film. You make a film every few years, but it's quick and it's spontaneous.
Are you this laid back on set? I should be asking you three. Is he this? Because he seems pretty cool.
Oh no, I'm intense. I'm intense.
You cannot get hot. You cannot go.
I don't get hot. No, I get surprised. They do something good, like Carter tell you, I just I get.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that.
Now do it again.
Yeah. And Damson, you have to change your accent completely. What's the hardest thing about speaking like we do?
Oh, wow. Trying to be cool while I do it, I think, is the hardest thing.
But let's hear you tell it the American accent. You have an American accent, but you also have a street accent.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, we want to combo the both. The American street accent.
You gotta watch the show, man.
There it is.
John, Damson, Carter, and Angela. Good to see you guys again, of course. And